So that's a great way to look at it. So we're gonna, here's the thing. Yeah.
I'm too attached to something. I have to let go.
Exactly. These are the Indian concepts that karma, I'm opening all of this up because this is probably the biggest misunderstanding in Indian thought. And everybody thinks they have, thinks they know what it is. By the way, I'm not saying anyone's answers are wrong or whatever either. But there's so much illusion of understanding, just in general in life, but around Indian concepts that have become westernized. Karma is maybe the biggest, because it's very easy to say, well, what comes around goes around, and then all of this stuff we're talking about is just kind of underlying. That's why I want to get everybody to talk about it. There seems to be judgment. It seems to be, it's just assumed that karma is the bad stuff, that you need to rise above, change, go to an astrologer to change your karma, not be under the thumb of it and all of that stuff. And actually, the thing you need to understand about karma is it's really not, or I should say what it is. It's really like a law of nature. It is like the law of nature to the soul. And the best analogy that I have for what karma really is, and the best way to understand it with detachment, is it's like a law such as gravity. Gravity is like a law of nature, and karma is a law of the soul. So gravity, for instance, there's no judgment. There is absolutely no judgment with karma. It's simply this action produces this result. Whether it's good or bad, frankly, do not even exist. They on themselves are illusions. They're judgments that have nothing to do with life whatsoever. Just like, look at something like gravity. Is gravity good or bad? Which one is it? This poor baby fell off a balcony and plunged to her death. Damn it, gravity. It sounds ridiculous, right?
Mistletoe is a good thing, though.
So we don't look at gravity that way. We don't say it was gravity. We say, this idiot let their baby fall off the balcony. But it was gravity that did it. This plane crashed because gravity was punishing them for the sin of their energy. We would never look at it that way, right? Because gravity is a law of nature, or like fire. Like, we have to learn the nature of fire, and then we know not to put our hand in it. If we keep putting our hand in it, we're going to keep getting burned, and it's not the fault of fire, because fire also cooks our food and purifies. Gravity also keeps us stuck on the earth. Without gravity, there'd be nothing. But karma is the same way for your soul. Everything you've learned, it's because you tried something and tested it and got some feedback from it. That's all karma is. You have the karma right now of the decision you made a few days ago to come here. It's just what you're getting out of it has to do with what you've done in your life and how those actions have produced what you have in your life. And the word literally means action, but it's also, what is action? Action is it's really the amalgam of your wisdom. The things we do, that we actually do, are the most tangible expression of what we really know. Because we have a lot of ideas about what we think is right. This, but what are you doing? We have a lot of ideas, for instance, that we should eat this kind of food, and this is healthy, and this is that, and this is that. And we have this idea, oh, I know all of that. I know it. But what do we do? The difference between these things is what our karma shows us. I know I should do this, but instead I ate a gallon of ice cream. Well, karma is going to show you the result. It's going to give you the result of that. Food is a good one with karma. We can really understand the law of karma by things such as food. It's a real good one. It teaches us very immediately how our body reacts to things. Karma gets confusing because there's often a distance between certain actions and their result. Like, for instance, like I say, food is a good one. There's no judgment. The food isn't punishing you for eating it. Sounds ridiculous, right? But this is kind of the way you need to look at it. You will never learn anything or know anything unless you experience the result of your actions. And your actions are the result of your expressed intelligence. You see? Does that make sense? Everything comes down to what you're doing for your soul's evolution. You're here on earth to take action. Inaction is impossible. It's in the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita, you want to understand karma? Read the Gita. Inaction is impossible. You must act. You are always acting, you are always making choices, and you're always getting feedback on those choices. Always. It's never anything but that. And karma is the law of nature that governs this process. There's no judgment, there's no nothing. And you're totally right about the person, the baby that incarnates and suffers. And Joy is also right. First of all, we don't know the bigger picture. This being could have incarnated because this is their last lifetime and they need to come and suffer immensely before ultimate liberation. And that could be the reason why that baby is suffering or abused or whatever we say, but that wasn't their fault. They didn't do it. We're identifying with their limited form in that point and not understanding their eternal nature. This isn't the first time they've incarnated, and they're not just this separate creature. So even people that incarnate and undergo horrendous abuse or whatever, we don't understand the bigger picture. We don't know why. And of course it's part of their soul's evolution, their soul's history. It's not a mistake. This is the other thing, because people always think something's unfair. Once you understand the law of karma, you know nothing is unfair, ever. It's never unfair. This divine order does not make mistakes. It's not like, well, gravity works sometimes, but it didn't work this time. It works every time, and it's always right on. There is no mistake. There's nothing unfair, no mistakes, no exceptions, and no judgment. It's just, this creates that. You stick your hand in the fire, you get burned. You eat a gallon of ice cream, you get a stomachache. You continually cooperate with your darker psychological impulses that have told you over and over and over again it's going to hurt you, and you keep doing it, it's going to keep hurting you. And the longer you do it, the more it's going to drive you into a pit of hell. Because you've been getting the feedback the whole time and you still keep doing it. Does that make sense? And eventually all of that mistake is going to culminate in some horrible situation that you go to an astrologer for, and he's going to see, you know what? This cancer has resolved, this mistake you have made for 35 years has turned into cancer, and it's probably going to kill you. As an example. Not that the astrologer would say that, I have to keep giving that caveat. But we keep making the same mistake over and over again because the nature of that particular planetary energy is dark. This is what our deep problems are in life. And the karma is not punishing us for it, it's trying to awaken us to it. Does that make sense? One other thing, and then I'll get to a couple questions. The other thing with karma, as was said here, is there's the sort of karma and free will. Karma and free will. I want to offer that karma is karma is the structure. It's the concept, like gravity. Free will, or what we call free will, is not outside of karma. It is the activating part of the process. Everything is a matter of what we would call free will. Your karma is a result of your free will. Your free will to eat the ice cream creates the karma of the stomachache. It's not like there's some kind of, well, there's your karma or your free will. It's better to say, you know, the destiny or what you created based on your past actions. And I instead of using free will, I use presence instead of free will now. The word is really presence, because you always have presence. Free will is actually something, generally, I find that people introduce into the process to interrupt it. They're usually them fighting against their karma, fighting against it, but I can defeat it, right? Good luck defeating Saturn. Good luck defeating a being that's been around 4.5 billion years. Good luck on that one. Usually free will, this is what's in the mind. Not intentionally, but this is the ego of the individual saying, but what can I do to defeat it? And free will turns into this kind of willfulness, which is separate. Presence is actually what you want to bring. And you can bring presence into everything. And in fact, you are always bringing your presence into your